Hello people of BookTube, Megan here, and time for a belated 7 on Sunday video. For those who don't know, 7 on Sunday was created by G Swizzle, the Goodreads group for any future prompts, prompt suggestions, and whatnot. It's going to be down in the description box. This week's prompt was book covers you hate. So I thought I wouldn't come up with enough for this one because there are book covers I dislike, not too many I hate. So quite a few of these are more like, they just aren't my thing. So yeah, a lot of these are more like, not a fan of how it's set up, it's not my thing. So first on this list are the covers for the Rhaenyra Revelations and the Rhaenyra Chronicles books, the older ones. So these are the old Rhaenyra Chronicles covers. The Revelations ones are more or less the same. Initially I didn't dislike them, though, you know, thinking about it, these really aren't how I picture the two main characters. Like, yeah, they have this kind of vibe, I imagine, but it's not quite how I picture them. So yeah, you know, they aren't too bad, but the later covers of the Rhaenyra Chronicles, where it's more like a zoomed out scenery photo, same with the Legend of the First Empire series, which is set in the same world universe, just different time period. Just the covers for that are just so nicer, in my opinion. Just like both of these. Just the more zoomed out of a scenery, something that plays part in the story instead of just the two characters posed on the front. The second set of covers is the new Iron Fae covers. I don't hate them, I just prefer the original covers better, though I can totally understand why people might not like the original covers. I've noticed that a lot of people don't like, you know, faces on covers, for lack of better words. I don't mind them usually if they're done a certain way. It's hit or miss with me, but usually I like them. That, and there are times when I do enjoy seeing the faces of the characters, especially when it matches up to how I imagine them. Like, the new covers are pretty. I don't hate them. Just prefer the older ones. Though there is one exception to that. The third addition to this list is the Lost Prince cover. I don't know, I don't get the point of, like, shirtless. I assume that's supposed to be Ethan on the cover. It just seems weird to me. And then there's the fact that the other two books in this series, the Iron Trader and the Iron Warrior, sorry for the glare, follow the same, like, cover scheme as the original Iron Fae books. So poor Lost Prince here is the odd one out. It's also the odd one out because it doesn't have iron in the title. So it's just kind of weird, like, having this up against these two and all the other Iron Fae books. So I don't like that difference. Like, maybe if they had stuck to, like, a similar theme in these two, so the series itself matched, I'd feel different. Probably not, because I don't understand. Next I have the new, quote-unquote, new Vampire Academy book covers, the ones with, like, the VA on the front. I wasn't a big fan of those. I know the original covers aren't the best. I don't mind them personally, but I can see why people might not like them. But just the newer ones, if I can even call them that, the more recent ones with the VA on the front, I just wasn't a fan when those came out. It just seemed so boring to me. Like, it just seems so dull and not very eye-catching to me as a reader. So, wasn't a huge fan of those. Next on my list, I don't have a copy of it because I do not own it currently. It is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. I don't have an issue with, like, the Throne of Glass covers. It bugged me that the last book was this really bright yellow, while the other ones had, like, I don't want to say like a darker color scheme, but it wasn't as, like, obnoxiously bright in my opinion. Just, it stands out so much on a bookshelf, like, next to all the other books. And while I'm all for, like, eye-catching covers, I think that's just a little too bright, a little too eye-catching, and it really stands out. And I don't know if it's in a good way or a bad way. I'm kind of torn on it. I'm just not a fan of the main color of that cover. The second to last on this list is the Women of the Otherworld Maas paperback covers. I don't have any of them on hand at the moment. They are buried somewhere, but if I can, I suck at editing, but if I can manage to make it work, I'll put a picture of what I mean, like, somewhere on screen. They just remind me so much of the Twilight covers, you know, that black background with this random, like, object. Like, for Damstar Magic, it's like a wisp of smoke on a black cover, and just, I don't like those types of covers in general. They, I feel, tell nothing about the story. They're kind of bland and boring to me. And unfortunately, they are like the most common ones to find. It's like been my goal to try and find like some of the older covers, like this one. I like this. Yes, it's mostly dark, but I like it. It shows the character, and just, it's not like the most spectacular cover, but I feel it has more personality to it than like the Twilight-esque covers. Just those stock image Twilight-esque looking covers, they're boring, and I feel personally that they're lazy. I'm sure plenty of work went into them and all that, but just to me, for a cover, it looks lazy. And it annoys me that most of the time the image that's on that cover has nothing to do with the story. It's like, if you're gonna do something like that, can you kind of have it more like on theme with the story or something? I don't know. The final covers on this list are the Night Huntress World duology covers. I don't have the Eternal Kiss of Darkness with me at the moment. It's somewhere, but I have like a whole rant on that one in my review for it. Nothing huge, just there's 2 drops of blood on one of the characters' necks, and it looks bad, and it looks painted on, and it just, once I noticed that, I like hyper focused on it, and I'm just like, I can't get it out of my head now, and I'm just like, why? It would have been fine without it. Why does it look like it's like an artist took like a paintbrush and just, it just bugs me. And the first book in that duology, First Drop of Crimson, it looks like a bodice ripper. I know it's paranormal romance. There is smut in it. It is not a YA book, but just the cover reminds me way too much of like bodice rippers, like stereotypical bodice ripper type romance novels. Has that kind of feel to it for me, and it was kind of awkward reading it out in public. When I was reading this, I would bring it on my lunch break to read to get through it, because I do a lot of my reading at work. But yeah, I was a little self-conscious bringing this in. Always trying to like keep the cover down and just, yeah, it's definitely more of a it bugs me than I hate it. But it bugs me just enough, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is my 7 on Sunday, but actually Tuesday video. Still don't know how to end these, so yeah. Hope to see you guys next time.